Josh Eilert, a name that we may have not thought we would hear for a long time. We thought maybe he was going to get a job in the back, in the admin somewhere, maybe in the athletic department. His name has popped up again, and for good reasons for him. But did he deserve it? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to talk about Josh Eilert's tenure as West Virginia University head basketball coach. Talk about some of the things he went through, some of the things that team had to go through, and just the horrible dumb luck that they had, really. Let's talk about that stuff right after this word from our sponsors.
Friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time.
With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for.
Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com, or you can come in person today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you.
And, of course, we can't forget about the sponsor of the channel as of right now, and that's Magic Shine. Today's video is sponsored by Magic Shine Auto Spawn Tint in Morgantown, West Virginia. At Magic Shine, your vehicle's care is their top priority. They use only the highest quality products to ensure your car not only looks its best, but is also protected and maintained with the utmost care. From window tinting with top-of-the-line Max Pro Tint to protective ceramic coatings from Diamond Protect, they've got you covered. Drive in today and experience the difference of Magic Shine Auto Spawn Tint, where your car shines like new. Shine on, Morgantown. What's up? Welcome in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and this is another edition of Hoops from the Hills. Hoops from the Hills. So, Josh Eilert is in the news. Before we get to that, look what I got. It's here. The Garrett Green signature, which got the gold signature on it, mini helmet. It's here. You could have one. You could have it. You could have it. But some stuff you got to do, I think most of you know, is are you signed? Are you subscribed to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football? Are you subscribed to Hoops from the Hills? And are you on the forum at the website? Interesting. Well, if you're not, I'll show you how to get there. Let me share this with you. Okay. At the website, wvinsiders.com, you're going to go to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. You're going to subscribe. You're going to go to Hoops from the Hills and subscribe, and then go to the forums right here and sign up. My own website, put me through ads. All right. Let's talk about this Eilert thing, huh? The University of Utah, with a headline, Eilert joins Big 12 foes Utah as an assistant. The University of Utah men's basketball team has filled its vacant assistant coaching position with Josh Eilert, bringing in a coach with nearly 2 decades of experience in the Big 12 Conference. Eilert joins the Running Utes after spending 17 seasons at West Virginia University. He started his tenure as a video coordinator and steadily rose through the ranks, eventually becoming an assistant coach. Notably, he served as the Mountaineers' interim head coach during the 23-24 season following Bob Huggins' resignation. I would like to thank Coach Smith and the University of Utah administration for this incredible opportunity, Eilert said in a press release. I have an immense amount of respect for Coach Smith for the way in which he runs his program and the success he has had along the way, and I'm thrilled to remain a member of the Big 12 Conference, a league that I've spent 17 years in. My family and I are eager to join the Salt Lake City community and represent the University of Utah and its storied basketball program. Go Utes. And then here is the X thing. So it looks like they've already got him in gear, which looks like it's been photoshopped on there. Could be more excited to welcome Josh Eilert to our Running Utes family. Be sure to give him a follow, you fans. Okay. Eilert had been with the West Virginia program for 17 seasons after following Bob Huggins from Kansas State. Eilert was promoted to a main assistant after Eric Martin took the South Carolina job in 2022. Eilert spent his first 6 seasons at WVU as a video coordinator under Huggins. As he served as the interim head coach during the 23-24 season, replacing Huggins for the season following his resignation. Under Eilert, West Virginia finished 9-23 as the team struggled to get on the floor together. WVU's highlights included ranked wins over Kansas and Texas at home. Eilert now joins a Utah team that will transition from the Pac-12 to the Big 12 beginning this athletic year. Eilert's strengths: extensive experience in the Big 12 both as a player at Kansas State and coach at West Virginia, proven ability in player development with a focus on working with big men, and a well-rounded coaching skill set and clear communicator. Strategic hire for Utah's transition. Eilert's familiarity with the Big 12 will be invaluable for Utah as they join the conference this year. He'll play a key role in player development, particularly for the team's big men as they navigate their new conference landscape. Eilert is the second new assistant for Utah this offseason, joining Lauren Leith, formerly with Sacramento State. They fill the vacancies left by Chris Burgess, BYU, and DeMarlo Slocum, Washington. So a lot going on there, guys. I'm curious how everybody feels about this. And don't forget to like the video while you're here and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're so close to 2,000 on this channel. So if you're watching this after the fact, drop a comment below and let me know how you feel about this hire for Utah. I think there's a couple ways you can look at it. Obviously, Josh Eilert didn't get a fair shake when he was here. No coach, I was telling somebody on the phone earlier, no coach, name it, John Wooden, he would have succeeded with that team last year. Bob Huggins, no. Maybe they could have got a few more wins, but when you look at the totality of everything that happened, first, Bob Huggins has to resign, right? 2 weeks, 3 weeks after he makes some slurs. Unfortunate. But Eilert's thrown into the job. Then everybody hits the transfer portal that you had already filled needs around, Most of the team was pretty much intact, and you had guys like Joe Toussaint, Trey Mitchell that were already there, and the needs that they filled were based on what they had. And so now you've got the reverse. You had what you brought in what you needed and lost what you had. And so that's what he had to work with. And so they brought in a couple of young kids. They brought in Ofri Neve from Israel. And then they get the Raekwon Battle thing. Noah Farrakhan was not even supposed to play. And then all of a sudden, you think you're going into the season with at least a good point guard in Kirk Risa, and then boom, 9-game suspension. And then on the 10th game, what happens? Not only do you get your guys back, you get Noah Farrakhan, you get Raekwon Battle, but Jesse Edwards goes out with a broken wrist. So just the very game you think you're going to get everybody back, it all falls apart again. And oh, by the way, Jose Perez was told to kick rocks right before the season started. Couple this with the fact that this team was not able to go to Italy and gel as a team as teams had been able to in years prior. Omar Silverio, who was going to be, in my opinion, one of the best three-point shooters in the Big 12 last year, was not eligible. And at every turn, the NCAA denied West Virginia for, name it, Raekwon Battle's waiver, Omar Silverio's waiver. And yet, Josh Eilert had to try to coach this team. And people expected him to win. They did. They expected him to win with this. People expected a tournament run. It was never going to happen. This team was 4-4 the first 8 games with basically Akron. All those guys are at Akron now, you know. And then when conference play started, it was a wrap. Josh Eilert was loyal for 17 years to Bob Huggins. He stayed right here in Morgantown, West Virginia for 16 of those years, I believe, or 17. And 17 years. And he was loyal. He was well spoken. He took this right on the chin. He never really made excuses. Hell, he never even put pictures up on his wall in his coach's office because he was trying to envision trophies there. So there was a lot, you know, and the team that we had as far as what we brought in was pretty good. I still feel like Greg One Battle could have been good on a better team. He was a great scorer. Noah Farrakhan, really not built for the Big 12, in my opinion, at least not on that team. He'd been much better on this team. But he didn't have what he needed to win in conference, especially at the big spot, which was very obvious early on. You know, we were out-rebounded in several games. And it just wasn't fair for Josh, right? Or the other coaches, not to mention. We had some really, really young, what I think are going to be stars eventually. You have Deshaun Butler, plenty of former Mountaineers. And that's the other part of this is I think this coaching staff alongside Josh Eilert eventually would have been pretty good, some of them, not all. But as a whole, they were lacking very much. You've got Johnson, who played in the NBA, but really wasn't a good college coach yet. He was basically the guy that they could say, "Hey, here's our lottery pick." Then you had you had Jordan McCabe, who was 23 years old or whatever he is, getting his first assistant job. Not ready for that role just yet, I would say, as far as with the way things were. He was on Huggins' staff. It's a different story. Deshaun Butler had worked everywhere at that point, and probably one of the most ready-made guys we had on the staff. But you get where I'm going here. As a whole, they weren't ready for what they had to deal with. And so for Josh, this was not good because who was he leaning on, right? And none of these guys, there was nobody to lean on for experience. Maybe Hugs, you know, maybe he spoke to Hugs. But not even Hugs could staunch the bleeding. He couldn't even staunch his own bleeding at the time. And so it all led to what it led to, which was one of the worst seasons in program history, 9 wins, and an embarrassing season overall for us, marked by some interesting wins along the way. And so the big question is, does Josh Eilert deserve another shot at a job? Well, hell yeah, he deserves another shot. Should they have hired Everhart or another one of those guys as the interim coach? Maybe. You know, it's easy in hindsight to look back and say, yeah, you should have done this or should have done that. I think at the time they were trying they picked Eilert because of his outstanding media available. When he was available to the media, he was outstanding. He was very well spoken. He said all the right things. He was basically a team player. And I think he knew that he was basically thrown on that chopping block and hoping for the future that he could figure it out, right? And that's a tough position to be in, to know you're thrown into a impossible situation, but still want to be resolute enough to say, I think I can still do this, is a tough situation to be in. And as the losses started the losses started to pile up, the composure of Josh Eilert did not fade. So I was proud of how he handled things. Didn't think he was ready for that at all. If he's a head coach, I think is not a really fair question. But if you had to make me give you an answer, I would say I don't think Josh Eilert's head coach material yet. Could he be someday? Maybe with more experience. I wasn't impressed with how he handled some of this stuff. But I'm not here to bash a guy. You know, he made pretty good money for 1 year. That changed his family, I'm sure. He were able to do some really cool things, I'm sure, with that money. But Utah is a pretty good landing spot. He'll be able to give them a lot of info, especially about West Virginia as far as the program goes, but not this team. Excuse me. So overall, like I said, I think it's a mixed viewpoint that I have on this situation. I think Josh Eilert was thrown into the wolves, and he really didn't have a shot. Gave it his best, came up very short, and he's lucky to have a job. I think he's very lucky to have a job. So he's going to take it and run with it, and he deserves to. Don't forget, Super Chat button's wide open, guys, if you want to donate to the channel. I know I'm live every night anymore, but this is my full-time job, and I try to be consistent about that. So now that more people have shown up, something cool happened for me today. Uh-oh. Look at that. The Garrett Green signed mini helmet is here. The Garrett Green, you can win it. All you have to do is sign up for Mountaineer Paul Talks Football and subscribe to Hoops on the Hills, and go to the website, sign up for the forum. I've said it a few times over the last couple of weeks, so I don't want to aggravate anybody by keep on going in on it. But I'm very committed to growing this channel, if you can't tell, which is why I'm being so consistent about how much I record and how much I come on here. I want you guys to have something to look forward to. If there's no other Mountaineer news to talk about, you can look at your phone and say, hey, look, Paul's got something to say, and he'll rattle on for 40 minutes. What's up, FTB? Sometimes in business relationships, things don't work out, man. Kuz and I were really, really close friends, and we tried to make it into a business partnership. And as you can see, I am extremely committed to this basketball channel, and his schedule didn't allow him to be, right? So we really just have different visions. When we first started the channel, I think we both thought it wasn't going to grow as fast as it did, but it did, because he and I had such good chemistry together. And it's just me now. So if that's something that bothers you, or if you don't like that Kuz isn't here anymore, I completely understand that. But it is my show. We figured it out to where I can just have the entire show, which I won't release the details of that. But so I wouldn't say split. That makes it sound like it was bad. It was more amicable than that. So don't hate Kuz, and certainly wish the best for him and his channels. So. Mark, I don't know. I'll never say never on that, So I don't want to get too much deeper into it than that, Mark. But, at the end of the day, like I said, I wish the best for Kuz and everything. But there's just some of the situation that I can't talk about. But, I'm always open to having him on if he wants to. The thing about basketball for Kuz is it's just not his first love. Not that he hates the basketball team or anything like that. I don't want to speak for him because he's not here, but he likes basketball. It's just not number one for him, and he's more of a football guy, whereas football is 1A, basketball is 1B. You know what I'm saying? Then the NFL. So like college football, then college basketball for me, as far as my sports and how I like them. So I am obviously a huge basketball fan. And I like the NBA and NFL about the same, if that tells you anything. So, but yeah, things are all good. I mean, it's nice. It was nice having Kuz on here, but he just wasn't in a position with his schedule and stuff to do what I wanted to do for the channel, because I have a lot bigger aspirations for this channel, and he has to pay attention to his own 7,000 subscriber channel. So I am too, JDK. I'm very excited about the baseball game. Okay, FTB, thanks for asking. Thanks, Mark. Same here, Nick. Same here. So let's talk some Eilert, guys. That's kind of the topic for the night. You guys can certainly change the topic. Somebody asked about Powell earlier. Who was that? I've been talking to Duncan Powell, and he hasn't answered me today very much. So I'm assuming it's because of the visit, or maybe they told him not to say much, but I think, we've got a shot. I thought he was going to commit yesterday. If you'd asked me yesterday, I'd have been pretty convinced. But there hasn't been much info to gather today yet. So if he leaves Morgantown without a commitment, then that'll probably be our answer. But until I know more, I can't really say for sure, Leo. If you had to ask me right now, though, I'd say it's 50-50. And that's strictly only because I haven't heard from him, and he answered me so often yesterday. But like I said, he's on a visit. He's doing stuff. He's being shown around. Last thing he wants to do is talk to some guy he probably thinks is like a reporter trying to get answers out of him. So, which I'm technically really not, because I if he asks me not to say, I'm not going to say, but he doesn't know that. Hey, Mitchell. No. I'm not. Thank you for asking, though. We split up. They just dropped me, man. They didn't tell me anything. The day after he lost the primary, because Chris Miller is the owner of Dutch Miller. The day after that, he kind of dropped me, without any warning or anything. We had talked about it going a lot longer, but I'm not here to criticize anybody. That's just how it happened. I wish I could have got a phone call or anything, instead of an email to my partner. It wasn't even him. It wasn't even technically his, even though we ended up splitting it, I got the deal. You know what I'm saying? I secured the sponsorship. So, I was a little bit peeved about that one. But Chris, like I said it many times on the show, he really kept every promise that he ever gave me. So, he paid me for 16 months to do something that I love to do. So, it's not like I could be mad too much. Just the way things ended kind of hurt my feelings because they knew that my income, depended on that quite a bit at the time. So it just would have been nice to get some notice that, hey, $2,000 a year is going to be gone. I just said how much he paid me, didn't I? But yeah, there I go spewing too much again. But at the end of the day, man, I wish the best for Chris too, and I wish they would have done it a little differently, but I can't change that. Oh yeah, Leon, appreciate that, man. I'm glad you like Powell as well. Yeah, he's a good player. He's good as far as he's exactly what we're looking for in a big. He averages right around 7-ish rebounds a game. 12 points a game is pretty good. I think he can do about that. I think he can do that in the Big 12, especially in an offense with better players. He's a guy that can really drive it to the rim. He can get on the block and go left or right. Like, which shoulder do you want? He can go over either one. He's really good at finishing at the rim at 6'8". And then he can pull it back and shoot it at 30%. So he's a threat, 3 levels, and that's important. I would really like to get him on this team. Was he the best big available? No, but he's definitely one of the best ones left. And if they can work it out, that would be for the best, no doubt. So we're hoping that it works, but can never guarantee anything. I'm getting updates here. All right. Nothing yet. Nothing yet, guys. But any news on any of the other assistant coaches getting new jobs? I haven't really looked a whole lot into that, FTB. Jordan McCabe got a job with Danny Sprinkle, I believe it was. He's the only one I've really heard, but I'm sure Butler knows, that soda. Butler knows guys, Well, Eric, I appreciate that. I just don't want to get too deep into it. It's a sports show. I appreciate you saying that stuff, but for over a year and a half. Like I said, he was dead on for me. So, but I get what you're saying. That's what I want, JDK, a body armor drink sponsorship. That's like a life-changing deal there. I would love to have that. Shoot, I would tell them to give me $1,000 a month and some free body armor or something like that. I'd do it. Listen, I put out a lot of content. That's kind of like, when I sell myself to people, I can tell them more because I do more, like even if I'm only getting a couple thousand views on a video, well, if you do 2 videos 5 days a week, that adds up to a lot. I have to do more. Hopefully this thing starts growing a little bit faster here once the season starts, because otherwise, how would you guys feel about, I think I've asked this question before, but how would some of you guys feel about me expanding out and doing some more Big 12 content? Would you guys still watch? Or you guys, I know most of you guys are all West Virginia fans and all, but would I lose some of you guys if I started talking about other teams? Because I think I'm starting to plateau a little bit here. I mean, I've had Tucker DeVries on, and we did well that episode. Don't get me wrong. We had, I want to say, 50 or 60 people subscribe after that episode, but I need to do more. So, I mean, this isn't going to get to 50,000 subscribers, getting 60 people every couple weeks. Appreciate that, Michelle. Teams in our schedule. Yeah, I mean, I could do that. I can definitely preview teams on our schedule. I can definitely work it into the West Virginia formula for sure. I just need to know what, because like some of my stuff, man, people just don't watch. Like you would think recruiting videos and stuff would be popular, but they're really not. like breaking down film and stuff like that. That's like very niche in my audience. Like not everybody watches that stuff. So it's like, I don't want to turn into a gossip or a drama column or whatever. Like, rest his soul. The way Gold Voodoo did stuff really got a lot of views, but it's not how I can do things. You get what I'm saying? With the West Virginia can go here, because I read something on Twitter or something like that. Like, I guess I'm trying to be more reputable, and I'm not saying he wasn't reputable. Please don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not. But sometimes he went off of stuff, that I wouldn't go off of, and that's kind of where I run into problems, because I like to be more sure of where I go or run with something, because I don't want to embarrass myself or lie to you all. And some people don't care as much about that. They just want a topic. You know what I mean? So it's really all about what you want to be. I called Hugs and spoke to him about coming on. We thought we had that done. Actually, Chris Miller got me in contact with him, but he's got a lot of people that want his attention. You know what I mean? It's really hard to get him to come on. And they asked me how big my show was, and so to him, because if there's not that many people that's going to see it, like it's not like I get 50 or 60,000 views on these videos right now. I don't know if I was big enough for him. Maybe, I'm not sure. But that's part of the reason. Like, it's kind of the crux of it is to get bigger people to come on. Sometimes you have to be worth their visibility. Like, the visibility has to be worth it for them. And some people don't care. Like I said, Tucker and Reese came on. I'll probably get Javon Small here at some point. It's on the table. Garrett Green had something happen with him today. Moved a step forward with Garrett Green today. So like names are happening for me, but they don't grow the channel. It's not like they instantly grow the channel a bunch. So Like I'm really trying to think of like what else can I do within the scope of this, because it's, I'm not going to sell my soul. I'm not going to do I'm not going to do stuff I don't want to do, because do I want to talk about Cincinnati? Not really. Do I want to have to study Cincinnati for 7 hours so I can sound like I know what I'm talking about? Not really, because I'm like one of those people, like if I'm going to talk about a topic, like I need to know details, serious details like I do about West Virginia. And that's probably a flaw of mine, because I got another buddy that can just kind of pick it up, and, he can kind of BS his way over it. It still sounds pretty good. I wish I was more like that. Gold Blue Dude liked having more fun than anything, which is respectable and awesome, but I understand. Oh, thanks, Nick. Yeah, he did like having fun. He did. Like I said, I'm not downing him at all. We just had different philosophies on some stuff, I mean, I know I'm not a professional journalist or anything like that, but I do try to lean into that a little bit if I can, because there are people that make it this is the new route, right? Instead of going to college, a lot of people are going this route. So, instead of college, because sometimes it's faster, but you've got to be entertaining to people, and that's something I also try to consider, because a lot of my stuff is pretty serious. I'm trying to figure out ways to be a little bit more entertaining and funny sometimes, and be true to myself, But it'll all happen in due time. Like I said, this channel is like a year old. So I mean, according to YouTube, we're growing. We've grown faster than normal. So. All right. So I guess now that everybody's in here, hopefully the 30 of you that were in here earlier don't mind. I'm going to go back and read this. Where I just go to X, I guess, and show you guys the Josh Eilert stuff. It'd be a little easier than just reading my article again. All right. Okay. On X. So here it is from Utah basketball. My family and I have been blessed with 17 wonderful years in Morgantown. It's time for a next chapter to begin in Salt Lake City with the University of Utah. Thank you, Coach Smith, for the opportunity to work alongside you in the greatest league in America. Go Utes! So there he is with the classic khakis on and the pullover. So he's there. He's on his way to Utah, of all places, which is an interesting spot for Utah, no doubt. Wild. Never would have picked Utah out of the bag, that's for sure. But, there's a lot of articles on it. A lot of people written on it. So let's see what Duncan Powell's up to. There's his pictures from earlier. So he's here. Or there, I should say. Let me actually go to his profile. Oops. All right. He put the coonskin cap thing out earlier, and that got quite a bit of love from the fans. And then I haven't seen much else, from him. Like I said, I talked to him yesterday and some today, but he just hasn't responded in a while for whatever reason. I don't want to say that's bad or good. I'm just saying it's a thing. So, for those of you that haven't seen any highlights of this kid, I highly recommend checking him out. He is good, very good. He trying to think of who he reminds me of. He's got a little Nate Adrian in him, I guess. Just, but on the offensive end, but he shoots it a little better. I don't really see much. I think he had 35 and 19 in a game. Jeez.
He is such a quick.
Oh yeah, that's him right there.
Dimitri Gorton. Inside Powell, a tough move.
Yeah, he's a big. He's like I said, he's 6'8". He can really penetrate, go at the rim. But he's a good shooter. He scored all three levels. He really can. So I really think he would benefit us. Thanks for the suggestion, Leo. Hey, Paul, talk about the Big 12 itself, what the other teams may be like this season. Yeah, that's the thing, Leo, is like, I can be familiar with the team, but man, that next step to knowing about them is tough. But I can do it. It just takes research, and unfortunately, I haven't been following along with all the teams as they've been building their teams this offseason. And getting to know all these teams from scratch, it's not like it used to be. Like for Penn State, I can do Penn State content really easily because I know a lot of their starters from last year. But in basketball, especially, the portal eliminates that. And some of these guys, I don't even know who they are, half of them, more than half. Like they're coming from, like Duncan Powell. I would never know who that was, Sacramento State. So if he went to BYU or Washington or Utah, I would be learning about him just like I am now as he's at visiting West Virginia. So that's kind of the crux of it for me. It's how do I get to know all these players outside of looking at their highlights one by one on every team, But I guess I can take it one team at a time and try to get to know who they are and formulate my own opinions, but it's still not easy, It's not the best case scenario, I guess you could say. What about Josh Eilert after he gets settled in Utah? Well, I think he'll really help him. Like I said, he knows what kind of bigs it takes to win in the Big 12. Like as far as scouting, helping them figure out what kind of players they're going to need. Think about the bigs that have come through here with Josh Eilert around. I'm not saying he recruited every one of them, but all the way from Dennis Kalikla to name a guy. There's been so many great ones from Sags, Devin Williams. He's been a part of all those guys, Culver, Sheway. And so he knows what it looks like and what it takes to win in the Big 12, especially the big. And that'll be very, very beneficial to Utah. So, got an update. Nope. Okay. All right, guys. So now I have 113 of you in here. Let's show you this one more time. Garrett Green helmet came in today. The Garrett Green signed mini helmet is here. It looks really beautiful, by the way. It is a Rydell. It's got Garrett Green's signature in gold. If I can turn it right. In gold, which is beautiful. So you can win this helmet. You can display it, whatever you want to do with it. Put it on your head if you got a small head. And to do that, all you have to do is subscribe to both my YouTube channels and go to the website WV Insiders and sign up for the forum. So that's going to be cool. We're going to hand that out at the end of the month. I'm going to try to have a big interview scheduled for that so that maybe the player that I'm interviewing or coach, whoever it is, can say it. Maybe it'll be Nelson Hernandez. We've already talked about doing an interview. Maybe I could have him come on and pick somebody at random, or maybe Tavon Austin, which he's not basketball, but I could still have him do it. If some of you guys don't know, I made contact with Tavon Austin yesterday, which would probably be the biggest interview I've ever done. I've done Steve Slayton, which was a big one. But, yeah, so I'm going to try to promote his Only One documentary, and he's going to come on the show to do that, hopefully. So that'll be fun. You know, if I can get him on, that would be like a dream come true. So hopefully that works out. Other than that, guys, not a whole lot else to talk about. The chat has kind of died down, and I understand. Not a lot to talk about on this one. I will let you know if something happens with Duncan. I'll go live again as long as it's within the right time frame. I'll let you know if anything else happens. You never know. They could have some kind of secret visitor or anything. You never know these days with what's going on. But other than that, man, not a whole lot else to talk about. Basically, just tried to get through this episode with the Josh Eilert news and some other little sprinkles and stuff. So we did a pretty good job. We made it to 41 minutes, so I'm pretty happy with that. Not a whole lot else to say, guys. So get to the website, sign up for this helmet, guys. I think it's awesome. Love the country road style helmet. So thanks for joining in, guys, and be waiting for the next one, because there will be a next one. See you then, guys. This episode is over, and I am out.